Thank you for choosing LaffyLounge. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Today we'll be reading some stories from the Am I the Asshole subreddit and deciding their fate. Will they have free drinks on the house, or will they be cut off for good? Let's get in and let's find out. Our first post is from Adept Budget. Am I the asshole because I kicked my parents out of the house they sold me? My parents retired 5 years ago and moved back to South America. I bought the house we lived in because it is in a mature neighborhood with massive trees and a huge yard. I paid market rate, and I have a mortgage. The only advantage I got is I didn't have to go into a bidding war. I asked them how much they wanted, and I paid it. It is an older house built in 1956. It is a very large bungalow-style house. I have spent the last couple of years turning the basement into a rental suite so I could pay off my mortgage faster, and later on have a place for my future child to be independent when they're old enough. Well, my parents decided to be big shots back home and blew through 20% of all their money in 5 years. They were giving gifts and loans they weren't asking for payments on and supporting a bunch of relatives. It's their money, and I have no right to tell them how to spend it. They both have pensions and investments that mean they aren't going to be poor or anything, they just can't keep living like they're rich. So, they moved back here to Canada. They asked me if they can move in with me for a while, and I said yes because I love my folks. I can afford to not rent it out, so I got the suite ready for them. I picked them up at the airport and took them home. When I opened the back door and led them to the basement, they acted all surprised. I thought they were impressed with my upgrades, so I showed them the kitchen and the bathroom and the 2 bedrooms. A couple of days later, they approached me and said they were embarrassed to be living in the basement and they couldn't have their friends over because of it. Since I'm single and it's just me and my cat, why don't I move into the basement and let them have their old home and furniture back? They would be willing to pay me rent. I said no. It's my area now, I paid for it. They started getting all mad and said they could have gotten more for the house if they hadn't sold it to me. I invited them to leave and go elsewhere. They were never fully unpacked, so it was easy. I drove them over to my aunt's house, and now they're calling me constantly because they have only 1 room there. It's a huge house, and it's just the 3 of them, but my aunt won't let them use the guest suite because it's for when my cousins or her mom visit, which is quite often. Now my siblings, parents, and other family members are calling me and either begging or ordering me to take them back. I don't think I should have to after being disrespected in my house. Am I the asshole? Oh yeah, parents definitely in the wrong here. They sold their house. It doesn't matter that they sold it to their son. They sold their house. They have no right to anything that's in that house, and they have no right to tell their son that he has to move to the basement of his own house. Absolutely not. OP gets free drinks all night. Parents, they're not just cut off. These parents are banned from the lounge. The next post is from WVGH. Am I the asshole for refusing to walk a girl home after a party? I recently turned 18 and went out with some friends Saturday night to a party, and it was awesome. At around 4 a.m., this girl approached me and started talking. She asked how old I was, and I said I was 18, and she said same. She had tons of makeup on and was basically half naked. After chatting for a bit, she asked if I could walk her the 5 blocks home because she was scared to go by herself. Her friends had went to another party and she just wanted to go home. I felt it was weird since I had never seen this girl before, so I said no. My friend who was nearby gave me a dirty look and said he'll do it. So he walked her home and I waited for him to come back. He was happy because he got her number, and then he confronted me and said that I should have said yes, and we argued over this. I'm sorry if I don't want to walk with strangers at 4 a.m. Am I the asshole? This is how all horror scenes go that start off nice and innocent, and then it ends with 15 dead children in a forest somewhere. That's how this begins. It's a trap, obviously. I don't think this girl's actually 18, and I think she's trying to trap him to do something. So, my final thought is that OP gets all of the free drinks, and this girl is cut off. The next post is from Summer Nights. Am I the asshole? My wife asked me to save money on my side and I refused. As a background, I am a married 32 male and my wife is a working professional in healthcare. We've been married for 4 years, have no kids, and we love each other very much. We live in the family home of around 8,900 square feet. My father and I work in a family-owned business. Times are a bit hard and the business is not as great as it used to be. The other day, my wife started talking to me about how we do not have any savings for the future. My answer was that I'm bearing the current living expenses, which include utilities, maintenance, food, fuel, house help, some of her educational courses, and a bit of side money for our own entertainment. I asked her why doesn't she instead save the money from her job, as I never asked her to pay for any of our living expenses. Her reply was that her friends and their husbands save money together, that their husbands do extra jobs and freelance to save money. To that I replied, I am already overworked and that I am not able to take on any new work for our savings, that her money would have been more than enough to save for. She got upset with that and started crying that I don't get her. That was the last conversation on that topic, and I'm feeling some tense atmosphere between us. Am I the asshole? This wife is absolutely trash at being a wife. Like, if you're both working, then you should be doing things together. So OP, you're kind of in the wrong here for not insisting she help pay for the living expenses since she's working. Like, but you're not an asshole in the fact that you're asking. Like, in this specific situation, she should realize that you're paying for everything and she doesn't pay for anything. So where's her money going? You're paying for her classes, her food, her entertainment, her house help, her fuel. You're paying for everything. Where is her money going? If she wants to save money together, then she needs to spend money together. I would go to her and tell her that if she wants to split the savings money, then she needs to split the bill money. She needs to pay half and half for all the utilities and the rent and the food and the fuel and her own educational courses, and then you'll have a little extra money on the side to split the savings money half and half, you see? So, OP, come to the bar, have a drink on the house. Don't bring your wife. I don't want her here. Our next story is from Mrs. Slam Dog. Am I the asshole for confirming my parents' rumors because I didn't want to help my friend? Hello Reddit, I need help as this has been bugging me. For context, I grew up with abusive parents who kicked me out as soon as I turned 18, and they continue to go through life, telling their friends lies about me being a horrible person. Now, I, 20 female, had a lifelong friend, 21 female, we'll call her B. We grew up together. As we grew into adults and went on with our lives, B and I parted ways but still kept in contact. I got myself a job, got married, and I'm living my life. B, on the other hand, is couch hopping, struggling financially, and refuses to get a job. When I've had the extra funds, she's asked me for money for food, and I usually send her some so she could eat. This has been happening every week where she'll need money for food again. For more context, my husband and I both have her on Snapchat. A couple of days ago, she asked me again for more money for food. I didn't really have the extra funds, but I came up with something by pulling out of my personal savings to send for her. I already thought it was a little weird because I had just given her money a couple of days prior, and she was asking for a specific amount, telling me she needed at least $25. I didn't want to question her, so I just sent it. Well, a few hours later, my husband and I are chilling on the couch, and he's scrolling through his friend's stories on Snapchat, and he sees B's. He says she's happy that she's doing better for herself now, and I ask what he meant. He tells me to go look at her story, but I don't see anything. On my end, she hasn't posted on her story since early that morning. Husband showed me her story, which is a private story that I'm not a part of, and she's at the club. Partying with other people, she's posted pictures of a huge dinner meal. On top of all that, a lot of alcoholic drinks. I saw she tagged the location to the club she was at, and I googled it. Turns out that the $25 she needed for food was actually the bouncer fee to get into the club. I felt hurt and betrayed that she would lie to me about that, especially since I pulled out of my personal savings to help her get food. But I didn't want to confront her about it because I'm not good with confrontation. It gets my anxiety up and I can't deal with it. The next week comes around, she's asking for money again. I told her no. I lied to her, saying I couldn't afford to, and left it at that. Well, a few minutes later, I get a huge book message from her telling me how my parents were right, how I'm selfish and a greedy person for leaving her to die of hunger, and now I'm not a real friend. After that, all of her friends started harassing me, saying how horrible I am for not helping my best friend, and how, again, my parents were right, and how I should be ashamed for being such a disgusting person. I've blocked all of them, and my husband agrees I was in the right and told me to not give her the time of day if she wants to act entitled, but she's my lifetime best friend, and I'm starting to regret not just giving her the money. So Reddit, am I the asshole? So, I don't agree with how you did it, but I do agree with what you did. You're not the asshole for refusing to give her money, but you are the asshole for lying to her. Like, instead of lying and saying you couldn't afford it, she knows you can. You've been giving her money apparently weekly for a while now, and she's not going to believe that you just don't have the funds, which is why she ended up sending you that message. Instead, what you should have done was tell her the truth, that you know she's been lying, you know she's not really in need of food, and that way you can not only put a stop to it, but, you know, tell her that you know who she really is. And then just be done with it forever. She's not your real friend, never has been, and never will be. Cut her out of your life. Matter of fact, come get a drink. Drinks are on the house. Come on in. Alrighty guys, thank you so much for joining the lounge on their grand opening. This is Final Call. The bar will be closing in T-minus 10 seconds. Get your final drinks, get your final thoughts, and get your final dance on the dance floor. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we will hopefully see you guys next time. Goodbye!